Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. This morning I come to you from the Hunter Valley, and as you can see, it's a glorious morning, and it's Sunday morning. It's the Sunday of the Greek Fest, which is going to be performed at the Hope Estate from 11 o'clock onwards. I've just pulled up here on the side of the road at a very picturesque part of the Hunter Valley, and thought I'd do a 5am club. This morning I was greeted by a number, about a dozen balloons that flew over the top of the Hope Estate, and it's something that I really want to do. I want to come up here one day with my wife and do a balloon sunrise trip or float, and there is so much beauty in this area here. There are helicopters which have been flying over. There's been hot air balloons. There's a plane there just going to land either on an estate or a airport, not quite sure. But as you can see, it's quiet, it's still, it's a blue sky, not a cloud in the sky, and a beautiful place to be. One of the benefits, or one of the things that I try and do with Jim's 5am Club, is I try and showcase and highlight the beauty of this country around me. And as you can see, I'm surrounded by absolute magnificence. So what I'll do is I'll go to a few wineries and do some 5am clubs where possible, and just try and capture the magic so that each and every one of us can experience what I'm experiencing here at the moment. So let's do a book summary, and the book summary that I want to go through this morning is entitled Be Fearless. Be Fearless by John Case. By John Case, or it could be Jean Case. I'm not sure what the name is, or if they're male or female. G'day, mate. As you can see, we've got a runner. Got a runner there. What a beautiful surprise. He actually scared the living daylights out of me. Wasn't quite expecting somebody to be running through here, but there he goes. He's running. Let me get him in the background there. So he's running through a vineyard. What a wonderful way to stay healthy, to get up, go for a run, but to run in the country, in a vineyard, on a beautiful, crisp autumn morning. So let's continue talking about being fearless, as he is indeed. Don't know how far he's going to be running, but see if he comes back this way as well. So the author goes on to talk about the fact that every truly historic making transformation has occurred when people have decided to go for revolutionary change. Just not just incremental change, but revolutionary change. And I guess sometimes each and every one of us get to a point in our lives where we just want to make a significant change, where we just, just wake up and just make a big change, a leap of faith. So these game changers, as the author says, go outside their comfort zones to make fearless promises with high risk of failure, then work hard to stick to those commitments. So the key to changing the game in our lives and dramatically changing our lives is to make a big promise to ourselves, a big promise to those around us, and not only make the big promise, but to stick to that big promise. Even though we face a high risk of failure. So to risk failure is probably the hardest thing of all, to show our vulnerability to ourselves and to those around us. To take that promotion. My daughter is about to take a promotion in her work, and she realizes and she recognizes that it is a big risk. It is a big step that she's taking, but she's willing to give it a crack. And we, her family, her husband, Alex, and her children, Annabelle and Elizabeth, I guess we'll need to support her as best we can and to see how she goes. But what they're saying here is that the opportunity of a lifetime comes, from a career perspective, it comes every now and then, and you just need to grab the bull by the horns, as they say, and to hold on for as long as you can, for as long as you can endure the ride, and sooner or later you'll stick. It'll become second nature to you. It'll become easier, and you won't have to worry about it. And in fact, not only will you survive, but you'll learn to thrive in your new role and become bigger, better, and stronger at it. So, and the bottom line, this is probably the theme of this book. The bottom line is that if you don't succeed, it doesn't matter. It doesn't bloody matter. Because what you've done is you've learned. You'll learn from your failure. You'll learn from your mistake. You'll learn from your setback. That'll make you a better and stronger person, as long as you've got the right attitude. As long as you don't see it as a defeat. As long as you don't get ashamed of the fact that you've had a go and it hasn't worked out for you. Who cares if it doesn't work out? As long as you've had a crack. Because having a crack, as we've said time and time again, is the most important thing. So the author then goes on to talk about a couple of formal points in the book. And the first one is to improve life for everyone. We need to head for revolutionary changes in our lives, which involve big risks. We've talked about that, we've said it, but this is where the author reiterates it. So the bottom line, and this is a great example, and I hadn't quite appreciated it for what it is, but now that I've been able to talk about it and learn a little bit more about it, I can understand where the author's coming from. Because what they're saying here is that if JFK didn't commit to the space program, if he didn't promise the American public that they would be the first on the moon, then America wouldn't have been first on the moon. Because I've learnt from this book here, and I wasn't quite aware of it, that JFK promised the American public that they would be the first on the moon. The Americans would walk on the moon, even though the technology to do so, how's this? The technology to do so did not exist at the time that JFK made that bold promise. So there's a big, big lesson there for each and every one of us, that sometimes we need to promise ourselves, make a bold promise, even though you haven't got the skills, even though you're not capable of doing it at this particular point in time. Sometimes you need to be ballsy and make an announcement. And as my goddaughter Laura said many, many years ago, sometimes we need to take a big bite, a big, massive bite out of life, and then chew like hell, chew as hard as you can, and as fast as you can, to be able to manage it. So there you go. JFK promised the American public that would be the first to go to the moon and to walk on the moon, even though the technology at that point in time did not exist. A lot of people would have said that he's bullshitting, and he may have been bullshitting. But that mere belief, that mere promise was able to bring the best minds in the world together to be able to achieve the unachievable. Donald Trump, to his credit, when COVID hit, said and called the biggest and brightest organisations and minds in the world to come together to develop a vaccine for COVID-19. And I think, what was it called? Lightspeed, or I forget what the program was called. But once again, we didn't have the technology to come up with a solution for COVID-19, and yet Donald Trump, to his credit, was able to make that promise to the American public, and it materialised, it manifested itself. Even though we didn't have the technology, we didn't know much about the virus. You know, that leap of faith, a warp speed, that's right, program warp speed. So he put a challenge to the American scientists to come up with something, but not only to come up with a solution, but to come up with a solution which was effective and as quickly and as best as possible, I guess is the best way of describing it. So these leaps of faith rally countries, rally people, rally organisations to achieve goals that seem impossible. So learn to get committed, learn to get excited, learn to make promises to yourself, and then stick to those promises so that you can reap the rewards, the fruits of your dreams. Because when you're committed to things, that commitment motivates us to keep our word and to find unbelievable solutions. The next couple of points to come out of this book here is where the author talks about the importance of questioning assumptions, and to be able to peek around corners. Question assumptions and peek around corners, making sure, of course, you don't get collected and wiped out by the cars on this busy road. So if you want to find new solutions, you need to question assumptions, according to the author, and to peek around corners. I like that, peeking around corners. And to make your big bets, you need to defy assumptions. You need to get the massive outcomes. You need to defy those negative assumptions or those limiting assumptions in order to reach the sky. So the last point to come out of this book, and thank you for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, where I'm coming to you from the beautiful Hunter Valley, is that we need to get outside our comfort zone. This morning I got up at 5 o'clock, got out of the house, I shaved, showered, came out into what I thought was going to be a cold autumn morning, but the sun came up, there's no wind, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's going to be a cracker. It's going to be a cracker of a day. So there you go. I got out of my comfort zone, and the author here reminds us and encourages us to get out of our comfort zones and to reach beyond the bubble, beyond our bubble, and embrace the new and unexpected. We all need to spend time and effort and to dream and to do things that are special And in order to do those things, of course, we need to endure, we need to welcome, and we need to embrace discomfort. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode. I'll finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, wishing you all the best. Let's help each other get through the morning, get through the day. I'm looking forward to this afternoon. There are at least 3,000 people coming to this concert up here at the Hope Estate in the Hunter Valley. And it's going to be an awesome afternoon. Many people that I've spoken to said that they're coming. People who I'd never expected to see up here will be making it up here. I caught up with a friend of ours, some friends of ours yesterday, Sam and Christine, also Bill. Bill and his family were up here, and it's going to be an awesome concert there with Dimitris Bassis, who has come from Greece, even though it's COVID-19. He's done his isolation. He performed at the recital hall in Sydney a couple of weeks ago, and today we're going to have a concert at a beautiful winery which has a commanding stage. It's going to be souvlakia, it's going to be food, it's going to be a picnic environment, a panigiri. It's going to be the closest that I'm going to come to a panigiri in years. So I'll hope to come to you from that location just to show you what we're experiencing here in Australia, to give hope to our friends in Sydney, to give hope to our friends in Greece, and to all the Greeks, all the Greek diaspora who are sprinkled throughout the globe. So thank you very much for joining me. Gya σας, φιλάκια, and I'll come to you again from a different location with a different message, a message of empowerment, where we can, as I said before, be the hope, the wind beneath our wings, so that we can live, learn and pass it on. Gya σας, and bye for now.